Nothing but a sidebar. Wow. Well, honestly, I figured that they would be discussing what the delay was for yesterday. But I believe it was because the next witness was Margaret Spinelli, and she had a travel delay. That's what I understand. The judge is with the jury. How do you know? B. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning. Hey, we are covering the Lindsay Clancy trial. Court has not even started yet, that I understand. When y'all come in, let me know where you're coming from. What are you doing? What are you thinking about doing? Make sure you repost this live or share it. Send me your heart me's. Anything you can do, we'll get a bunch of folks in here. Now, I am also live on the Big YT where we can watch together, although you don't see anything but a seal right now. Courtney, what's up? Throwdown. You're working? Listening at work, Tina is. I see you, friend. Thank you for your heart, me, Miss Terry. Michigan, welcome in. I'm in Tennessee. Yeah, it started with the sidebar. Oh my gosh, look at the little, oh my gosh. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful day. That's what I think when I see the meerkat. Hey there from across the pond. Arkansas, welcome in. Well, I grew up in Kentucky. So somebody asked me the other day where I was from, and I guess I'm from here. I've been living here, I'm from Kentucky. And they said, no, I was thinking you had a Kentucky accent. And I said, I think you're right. Thank you for the goat. Tanya, thank you for your heart me. We have 251 souls in here. We're all on the edge of our seats. Apparently, it started with a sidebar, and we had all of that hoopla yesterday. But hey, Jen, but why would they bring the jurors in one by one to swear in? Is that something that they do every day? Is that normal? Petty Betty just walked in. Is that normal? I don't know. Is anybody that works in the courts in here? Hi. Hey. Hi, Laura. Side buys. Man, oh man. Well, while we're waiting, let me give you a quick update on Hayden Panettiere. The DEA's involved, Joe, and there are arrests coming soon. A little birdie told me in my ear. And I'm telling you right now, I'm thinking I know why Brian Hickerson lawyered up. The DEA's involved. Just a quick update on that one. Oh, Lord. What is going on here? There are 4 souls over on the YouTube watching with me. Look at the emblem. Amelia, good morning. It is very confusing. Also, that just popped up, although I already knew and saved it to do a video. They wanted Hayden's team wanted to do an intervention. But the swearing. But my question is the swearing in of the one by one. The swearing in of the one by one. That's my question. Is that normal? I don't know how you could take a break when you just got started. We're on a break. They're working. They're having a sidebar. I've never heard of it either. Did something happen with a drawer yesterday? Oh my goodness. Well, it's unless a drawer was compromised and a new one had to be put in, and so they had to re-swear in every one of them. Nobody knows what that means. Yeah. Drawer 1135. Jen. Yes. Jen. That could be it. The jury's being freaking questioned. Did a juror quit yesterday? Is that what happened? I thought it was because of Dr. Margaret Spinelli, and it's something about a travel delay. Did somebody quit? WCYB? Okay. Is it News 5? They're having some, they're, I don't see that they're live. WCVB. Oh, it's a V, honey. Oh, Lord. I can't see. No, that's Boston. That's got to be it. Okay, I'm here. Well, they got the seal too. They've got the seal. And we're already streaming the seal from Law and Crime. Read the banner. Okay. They seem Jen, thank you for giving me a step by step this morning. Happy Thursday. Okay. Each juror, I'm reading the banner. Each juror is coming into court individually at sidebar, sworn in, then questioned by the judge. They're done with the jurors, but remain at sidebar. Sidebar is over. The judge calls for a short break. Oh, I just read it to you, Amelia. It's the banner on the bottom of WCVB Boston. So we could read what's going on. I think they're minute by minute on the banner there. 447 souls in here. Please send me your heart me's. How many people in here have a heart me this morning? You need to get it out of your backpack, nothing. Send it to me if you can. And also, you see my finger. Please hit the follow button. It's totally free to do, and it means the world to me. I'm trying to get to 200,000 followers as quickly as I can. I've challenged myself. So do me a favor and just hit that follow button. Flying with wings, hello. What's up, Connie's buddies, Buttersworth? Well, they really can't. What time is it now? Now it's about 6 minutes after 10. Because when they come back, it won't be too long before they're ready for their morning break, and then they got to go to lunch. And then we're right back where we were yesterday. No, they're at recess, but they haven't started, and I know that's confusing. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Let's get today's live goal going. Today's live goal is 10 of these hearts. If you can throw one, please, it goes to support the platform. There's 453 souls. I know there are 10 individual souls that can send one heart. I bet you we could get this goal hit in just about a minute or two. It'd be the fastest time. So if you happen to have one, please send it. So Amelia, we are thinking of all the reasons that they would be doing it this way, in such an oddly way. And to me, something must have happened with the jury. And yes, send donuts, roses. You don't have to be, if you don't have that, I understand. Tapping is clapping is free. Also commenting, all of those things are interactive and free to do. Well, Amelia, we toned it down. We not toned. We narrowed it down. We narrowed it down yesterday because everything was fine. Oh, thank you for the heart. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. We narrowed it down yesterday because remember he came back and denied the request to allow the TikTok lady to testify. That was denied. And then he said, let's take our lunch and come back. And that was at 1:30. And we were coming back at 2:30. And when we came back at 2:30, that's when he said what he said. So everything was hunky-dory at 1:30 p.m. And then things weren't hunky-dory at 2:30. So something happened in that 1 hour. Brittany, thank you for the heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. They said it. Yes. He said, what did he say? It is something beyond our control. Beyond our control. We didn't see it happening. So if this is a drawer thing and they had to get an alternate drawer, then they have something has happened. Somebody's quit, somebody spoke, somebody looked something up. Okay, we're back. We're back.
All right. Counsel, we ready for the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Bring them in.
Tap, 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 tap. Challenging to get to 30,000 likes. Tap, tap, tap while you listen. They're bringing in the jury right now. We have 6.6 thousand likes. I'm going to challenge you to get to the 30,000. 472 souls. Hit the follow button. Totally free to do. It means the world to me. Yeah. Now we're watching together on YouTube at Steph's Case Files over there. We're watching, commenting. Thank you for the silver star, Megan. And all that. We've got 9 souls over there.
Hey, all persons having anything to do before the Honorable William Sullivan, Justice of the Superior Court, now sitting in Plymouth, within the Honorable. Ron, you may give your attendance and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, court is now in session. Please be seated.
Yes.
Before the court today, we have a continuation of the jury trial matter Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. Ms. Clancy is present. She is the Commonwealth is represented by Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague and Assistant District Attorney Shannon Button.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you again. I know I just spoke to you probably about 10 minutes ago. But again, I want to ask you those questions, then we'll talk a little bit about what our schedule is today and for the rest of the week. All right. So first question, is any member of the jury read, seen, heard, or overheard anything from any source about any aspect of this case that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial as a juror? Next, is there any other serious matter or concern bearing on your service as a juror that anybody needs to bring to my attention at this time? All right. Again, thank you for following those instructions. And then
Nobody else bring anything to his attention. We're never going to get through this.
You're allowed to kind of roll your eyes because I'm going to say we're going to have kind of a short day today. All right. And that is, as I talked to you yesterday about an issue that has nothing to do with any of the attorneys in this case. All right. It's just something we're going to work out and I anticipate it will be worked out so that tomorrow you should count on a lengthier day. All right. I've talked to counsel earlier this morning in regards to where we are in regards to the schedule and the timeline. We are still, if not on schedule, still ahead of schedule. All right. And this delay that we may have a little bit this afternoon won't affect that. All right. So I just kind of wanted to let you know that I appreciate. I know you came in here this morning. It's going to be a short day, but also gear up for a longer day tomorrow. Okay. And so with that, the other thing is I told you it's got nothing to do with any of the attorneys, but it's also with the parties. So you're not to speculate about what this might be. It's also you're not to hold it against either of the parties in regards to this. All right. If you're going to hold it against anybody, you can hold it against me. All right. So with that, we're going to return now to the evidence in this case. And Attorney Reddington.
Thank you. Sheila Kavanaugh, please.
So they're not going to tell us what happened. And obviously nothing happened with the jury because he would have to say something. What in the hay bale? And why the short day? Why not just say it? Lord-a-day, honey. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Well, Margaret made it.
Good morning. Thanks, Madam Clerk. Raise your right hand.
I don't know. I have nothing.
All right. Well, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Law and order.
I just ask you to speak in
Law
that
and
microphone,
crime.
keep your voice up.
Not the
so
show
the
I'm
jury
owed.
can hear you. Attorney Reddington.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you tell us your name and spell your last name, please?
My name is Sheila Kavanaugh,
Oh, Sheila.
Cavanaughh.
And what town do you live in?
I live in the town of Belmont, Massachusetts.
And what are you doing for work now?
I am a board certified chaplain at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
And I didn't know that there were board certified chaplains. What does that
Brenda.
mean?
Well, to become board certified, you need minimally a master's degree in theology or divinity. You need to complete 1,600 hours of training post your master's degree. 1,200 of those hours are occur in a clinical setting, and 400 of those hours are in a classroom setting where we study various disciplines: psychology, sociology, philosophy, theology, and ethics. Beyond that training, we need to acquire 2,000 hours of additional clinical training before we can even apply for board certification. And we have to demonstrate mastery of 30 competencies before we
Lord,
go
everybody go get your
to
coffee.
a national board.
He's got
And
one
they
of
make
them
the assessment.
monotone
I also
voices
need
over
an
coffee.
ecclesiastical endorsement. And in my case, that was from the Archdiocese of Boston, from Cardinal Sean O'Malley.
And before you
Yes, ma'am.
obtained the board certification in your education to allow you to be
I
a
just want
chaplain,
to say,
what did you do for
I
work?
just want to say that you
Prior to becoming a chaplain, which is a second career for me,
and
I
you know,
was a senior
school
vice
for 15
president
years,
at Fidelity
I just
Investments in
to learn
Boston.
about
And
things.
how long were you senior VP at Fidelity?
16 years.
And are you married?
I am.
You have a family?
I do. My husband and I are the parents of 4 adopted children. When I was pursuing my master's degree at Boston College, it was a 3-year master's, but it took me 5 years because we adopted our 4th child while I was in graduate school. She was a 14-year-old girl from Bogota, Colombia.
And how long have you been working now as a
I
chaplain
ain't got
at
nothing to do with it.
Brigham and Women's Hospital?
7 years.
Quit
In
bragging
the
about
course
your
of
adoption.
your duties as a chaplain at Brigham and Women's Hospital, did circumstances bring you in contact with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes, they did.
Can you tell the jurors what happened?
I adopted a daughter and
I
she's from
arrived on the
Florida.
morning of Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. I arrived at approximately 8:30 that morning because I was there to relieve the overnight chaplain who was carrying the pager. I was taking over the pager shift, which went from 9 to 1 p.m., although I was working a full day. When I arrived that morning, she said to me, "Did you hear the news?" And I,
Well, okay, so
Sustain.
okay.
so you can't, you got to object, so you can't say what someone told you, okay? That's
Oh,
called hearsay?
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so I can say, as a result of the conversation with that person, what happened?
I was summoned to the director of spiritual care's office,
Did you
and
have a conversation with her?
I did.
All right, and as a result of that conversation, what did you do?
I went to Unit 8C in the Tower Building of Brigham to meet with Lindsay Clancy.
And what time of day was this?
Roughly between 8:30 and 9:30 that morning.
And when you went in to see Lindsay, what did you observe?
Well, the unit itself was filled with law enforcement officers, both outside the
Jennifer.
doors of the unit. There was Brigham security, but the unit itself was flooded. There were people from Plymouth County, Boston City Police, Brigham Security. So I had to make my way through concentric circles of law enforcement to even get to the room. I was permitted to see Lindsay, although she could not speak at that time.
And what was her condition that you observed?
She was dressed in medical armor. She had tubes. She was intubated. She had bandages. She had a neck brace. She was just covered and layered in equipment that enabled her to breathe.
I'm showing you Exhibit 121. asking, this may be South Shore, or it could be Brigham and Women's, but is this indicative of what she appeared to be when you first saw her?
That looks like it's from South Shore because when,
Sure.
yes,
Does she have the same,
similar,
very similar?
very
like
similar.
that?
Yes, very similar.
Did you see her again on another date?
I did. I saw her the next day. Again, she could not speak. She was intubated as well. That was the first week that she was hospitalized.
When was the next time that you saw her?
The
Yes.
next time I saw her was the following week. I have a calendar here of my visits. I saw her on Tuesday, January 31st, and she had been extubated at that point so she could speak.
So the tube had been removed. She was able to communicate, and that was on January 31st?
I believe she was extubated the weekend of the 28th, but I didn't work that weekend, so I saw her on Tuesday, the 31st.
All right. Tell the jurors what you observed and what.
Thank you.
if any,
Thank you,
conversation
Katie,
you
for the
had with
crown.
On the 31st. And let me ask you, how long had it been that they removed the tube?
Perhaps a day or two.
A day or two. Okay. Tell the jurors what she said to you.
She continued to look like the photograph you just saw. She was covered, tubes everywhere, the neck brace. Her emotional state was very neutral, a flat affect. But I remember vividly the first thing she said to me. Now, she had heard me for a couple of days. We had been praying together. And so when I went in on Tuesday, the 31st, she said to me as I held her hand to comfort her, I am so glad my children are safe.
Was there
What
any
the?
other conversation that you had with her?
I
She said,
replied
what?
theologically to Lindsay, and I said, Lindsay, your children are safe. They're safe in heaven with God. And I held her hand throughout that conversation, and we prayed for them.
Did she make any other statements to you?
She did. She alluded to having heard a voice, and the voice, according to Lindsay, told her that if she did not follow the command, neither she nor her children would be safe.
And did she indicate whether it was a male voice, a female voice, loud, soft?
She alluded to the fact that it was a male voice and it was persistent.
Any further conversation that you recall about that, not about general things, you know?
That came up several times. I visited Lindsay minimally 14 times while she was hospitalized at the Brigham, and the voice conversation came up several times during several of our visits.
Now, after Lindsay was transferred or cleared to go from Brigham and Women's Hospital, did she go to another facility?
She did. She went to Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital.
And do you know when that was?
That was roughly late February, perhaps around the 23rd.
And did you continue to see Lindsay at Spalding Rehab?
I did.
Do you know when she left Spalding Rehab?
In the late March, early April time frame, perhaps.
Okay. Now, Brigham and Women's Hospital in Spalding.
No habla
yeah,
español.
Spalding Rehab.
No,
are the
no,
same
no
umbrella
bien.
of hospitals, is that right?
They are. So Brigham and Women's Hospital and Spalding Rehab are under the Mass General Brigham complex. So for me to visit Lindsay in Spalding, I was still within the same hospital complex, and her psychiatrist at Spalding, as well as the chaplains, advised me to
No,
continue.
you
Oh.
can't say what
Oh.
anybody told you.
Oh,
So when she was discharged from Spalding Rehab, where did she go?
she went to Tewksbury State Hospital.
And fair to say that that would be back around February. It's been a little more than 3 years, 3.5 years.
Yes.
Hold on just a second. We got to go get through a commercial here. I'm freaking. She said, I'm glad my children are safe. That's I can't even process this.
right?
That's correct.
So you're being compensated, you're getting your paycheck and that type of thing. Right?
Yes.
How many times have you seen Lindsay at Tewksbury Hospital?
Perhaps 200 times.
Tell the jury why you continue to see her for 200.
Sustained.
So can you tell us how often on a weekly basis you would see her at Tewksbury?
Yes. When Lindsay was admitted to Tewksbury State Hospital, I continued to see her on a weekly basis. We had built up a very comfortable, respectful rapport, and I felt it was in her best interest to continue that as she healed. She was still in deep grief. She was suffering.
Sustained.
So,
That opinion be stricken.
so did she express anything about her children and their loss over that period of 200 times that you saw her thereabouts in Tewksbury?
Objection.
No, overruled.
Yes.
Other jurors?
Lindsay talks frequently about her children. She loves them deeply. She carries immense grief.
Objection.
They are objecting.
Overruled. Next question, though.
And has that continued to your observation?
It continues presently.
When was the last time that you saw Lindsay in Tewksbury?
Just prior to the trial starting.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Kamal.
Thank you. Excuse me.
There's no way that's
Good
all.
morning.
You were talking about on January 25th, 2023, when you first saw Lindsay in direct examination, and you said that there were a lot of police officers in the area, correct?
Correct.
But you mentioned that some of them were security personnel from the hospital, correct?
Correct.
And you're aware that the security personnel for the hospital don't work for the state police, the Duxbury Police, or the Plymouth County DA's office, correct?
Correct.
So they're separate and apart from law enforcement, correct?
Yes.
And then are you also aware that on January 25th, 2023, there was a search warrant being executed to collect evidence from the defendant and from the belongings that she had at the hospital?
No, I was not aware of that.
Were you aware that that collection of the search warrant required state police and personnel from the crime lab to be present for the collection of evidence?
I was not aware of that.
Were you aware that following that, at any given time, there were only 2 officers, either Duxbury Police, State Police, or Plymouth County Sheriffs at her room, the defendant's room, at any given time?
I do recall that.
Sorry.
And they were stationed outside of her room, correct, in the hallway?
Yes.
So that the only time you saw this large amount of officers present was on the 25th, when there were security from the hospital and search warrants being executed, correct?
Perhaps.
Now, you mentioned that on January 31st, 2023, you spoke to the defendant and she told you that she heard a voice telling her that if she did not follow the command, neither she nor her children would be safe, correct?
Correct.
You wrote very detailed notes that are contained in the Brigham and Women's Hospital records regarding your interactions with Lindsay Clancy, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And in all of these notes that detail every time you interacted with her, you never once wrote that she told you she heard a voice or what that voice said, correct?
Correct.
And you also said that this voice, talking about the voice, came up in several of your meetings, correct?
Correct.
And you never once wrote about any of it in any of your very detailed notes, correct?
Well, chaplain notes are not verbatim transcripts of patient conversations. I'm not there to evaluate the patient. I'm there to bear witness to their suffering.
Okay, but the question was, you did not document those statements in your notes, correct?
There's a problem with
Correct.
another note.
But you did document some other
Gonna wear her out
statements
over the
in
notes.
those notes, correct?
Perhaps.
For example, on February 6th, 2023, in a note that you wrote regarding your interaction with the defendant, you said that, or you wrote, Lindsay welcomed the visit and shared her fears of, quote, not being able to walk again, end quote. she continued to express her fears of how her inability to walk may make her vulnerable to others in the future. Do you recall writing that?
Yes.
Do you recall writing on February 9th, 2023, that the defendant was sitting in a chair adjacent to her bed and appeared to be visibly engaged, energized, and hopeful than in previous visits? Do you recall that?
Yes.
You also wrote in that note, Lindsay spoke hopefully of being discharged when the time arrives to Spalding, correct?
Correct.
And then in February 13th, 2023, you wrote in your note that Lindsay also expressed hopefulness in relation to her physical progress. She feels she has gained considerable physical strength and agility despite an inability to move her legs. She admitted that she feels, quote, deserving of this, end quote, in light of recent events. Do you remember writing that?
Yes.
Do you remember on February 16th, 2023, that you wrote in a note that the defendant expressed hopefulness with the news of her anticipated discharge to Spalding and seemed uplifted that she would be cared for in a facility with an excellent reputation?
Yes.
Do you recall writing on February 16th, 2023, that Paula, the defendant's mother, and Lindsay, the defendant, were playing a card game as they communed quietly, and that Lindsay expressed hopefulness with the news of her anticipated discharge to Spalding and seemed uplifted?
Yes.
And again, you've got all these details about her feelings and her thoughts and what she's doing, but nothing about the voices that you spoke of so many times, correct?
Correct.
And speaking of Spalding, you continued to visit her at Spalding, correct?
Yes.
In those conversations with her at Spalding, did she tell you that how in those first weeks at Spalding, that part of her physical therapy, she was working out with a yellow exercise band? No?
I don't recall her telling me that.
Did she tell you that during that time at Spalding, she reached out to a social worker there and asked for help filling out SSDI paperwork to get an income?
What?
That would be beyond the scope of our conversation.
She
No,
didn't tell you those
it would
things.
not
No.
touch an
Thank you.
What?
So I was asking about her filling out a form for SDI. Are you aware of what expenses her family and were incurring as a result of her physical incapacity, paralysis, being in the hospital?
No.
From my experience with thousands of patients, I had a very clear idea of the enormous expense.
There's a difference between, as the district attorney very appropriately referred to, that your comments were about her thoughts and her appearance and her feelings. Is that correct?
Correct.
There's a difference,
They
however,
asked
between
whether you
privileged
missed it.
communications with a chaplain
told
and
you-
observations
her
of a
that she
person's feelings and
exercised
thoughts, correct?
Correct.
Exercise
Tell the
band
jury what effect
in the facility.
privileged communication has when someone talks to you personally as a chaplain.
Because I'm not a medically trained clinician, I approach patients in a vortex of trust. Some of our chaplains at the Brigham are ordained clergy. And so there's this understanding that when a patient interacts with a chaplain, the conversations are confidential.
Do you put them in medical records?
No.
The words, like Lindsay indicated that she felt uplifted. I think counsel read that twice.
That's
Were those
gross.
your notes, or is that what she said to you? Did she say, I
everybody's
feel
like,
uplifted? Or
wow.
is
That
your
was
observation?
my
Well-
perception of Lindsay. It was not her words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Como?
Because
You said you're not allowed to put the defendant's words in your medical records. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. It's not that I'm not allowed. It's an understanding, and it's a conversation that's held in confidence with the patient.
Then why are there direct quotes in these medical records from the defendant?
Well, they're not verbatim transcripts.
No, not a transcript of the whole conversation, but you put phrases in quotes. For example, on February 6, 2023, where it says Lindsay welcomed the visit and shared her fears of, quote, not being able to walk again. So those were her words in your note, in quotes, in the medical record, correct?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
I use my best judgment.
Okay. I would move to have you submitted as the next exhibit, the notes of the witness in her interactions with Ms. Clancy at the Brigham and Women's.
Any objection?
No.
All right. They may be admitted.
I have no further questions. Sorry.
Hey, Mr. Reddington, go ahead.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. May you step down. All right, counsel, can I see it?
Sorry, YouTube. Another sidebar. Another sidebar. But that's what we're it's not that it's let's say I hit and take out somebody with I don't exercise. What are them things? Dumbbells. And then I'm exercising with a dumbbell in the psych hospital. If she's exercising with exercise bands that look like or are like the ones that she used that day, and it's not triggering her, there are a million things you can exercise with besides exercise bands. That's what you pick. Something else. But Susie, the point is in court, when they brought out the exercise bands, Lindsay cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and couldn't do nothing with her, whatnot. But she's okay with exercising with exercise bands otherwise, and she's not triggered. $690 souls in here. Look at my finger right here. Hit the follow button. It's totally free to do. Tapping is clapping and all of those things. All of that's free, free, free. Yeah, Katie, it's kind of the expectation that you wouldn't want to see it again. You wouldn't want to touch anything like that again. Because if I'm not even looking across the courtroom where an exercise band is sitting and I'm still in a massive meltdown over here, but I can exercise with them during physical therapy in the psych ward? I understand given her condition in the wheelchair, there are limited options. But what if she's exercising her arms, then just use dumbbells. It's weird to me. Are they really? No.
All right. I told you it's going to be a short day for you, right? And I appreciate your patience with us. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow at 9. All right? Same instructions. And that includes reading anything, talking about this case, watching anything. Just don't do it. All right? And when you leave here today, just drive, go home, wherever you're going to go, and plan on being back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. The plan would be that it will be it will be a longer day than today. I appreciate you coming in here today. We moved the case a little bit today, and I appreciate that. So we're able to do that. So I hope everybody has a nice afternoon and evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning for a longer day. And just remember those instructions. from the moment you leave to the moment you come here tomorrow. Okay? Again, thank you so much.
All rise, please. Your testimony.
What is happening? Why won't he just say? One witness today. One witness today. The chaplain.
Sure, so the quorum is closed in session, please be seated.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll take a short break at this point. We'll come back. We'll do kind of a preliminary charge conference. We're going to just, which I know council knows, but for everybody else, discuss possible jury instructions, suggestions from council. Then we can talk about any logistical issues that we have for tomorrow. And then we'll probably recess at that point. All right, so this will be a short recess, and we'll come back up. Thank you.
So court is ending, but not ending. They sent the jurors home, and now they're doing something. They're taking a break to come back to do something, and then to take another break. Do you think they're going to come back and discuss what happened? Right, Monica. Preliminary what? There's 941 souls in here. Hit the follow button. It's right there at the tip of my finger. Totally free to do. That way you can keep up with true crime. And if you like merch, you like t-shirts, please go to scfmerch.com where you can buy t-shirts and stuff. Angela with the Barrel Reefs, I am super confused. Super. Today's live goal is 10 of these dragon hats. If you can send one, please do so. It goes to support the platform and everything we do here. If you can't, I totally understand. It's just that it supports my platform and it supports me, and I appreciate that. Rawr. Thank you, Lappy. Thank you, Lappy. I love you back, Jen. Jennifer, a whole bunch of nothing burger is what just happened in court. Yes. And by the way, you don't have to send what's on the gift card. You can just send donuts, roses, stuff like that. Anything a little extra you got. Me's. There's little me's you can send to me. They're coming back, though. No, the jury, he dismissed the jury. They are coming back after the short recess to discuss a preliminary. What did he say? Hold on. I'm going to replay the end of it and listen to what he said they're coming back to do. Hold on.
We moved the case a little bit today, and I appreciate that. So we're able to do that. So I hope everybody has a nice afternoon and evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning for a longer day. And just remember those instructions from the moment you leave to the moment you come here tomorrow. Okay? Again, thank you so much.
All rise, please. Your testimony.
Okay, let's listen to what he says. Is Patrick there?
Sure, so the quorum is closed in session, please be seated.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll take a short break at this point. We'll come back. We'll do kind of a preliminary charge conference. We're going to just
Preliminary. Okay, hold on. Preliminary charge conference. What is that? Hold on. I'm going to Google. Okay. A preliminary charge conference is an early meeting between the trial judge and the opposing attorneys to discuss, draft, and preview the legal instructions, the jury charge that will eventually guide a jury. Unlike traditional final charge conference held at the close of evidence, a preliminary session occurs before or near the start of a trial to map out the applicable law. But we're not at the start of it. Do you think something happened with the jury? I'm confused. Let me ask why this would be called in the middle of a trial. Today's live goal is 10 of these hand hearts. Please send one. It goes to support the platform and what I do here. Okay. The judge calls a preliminary charge conference in the middle of a trial to address unexpected developments in the evidence and give attorneys an early roadmap for their final arguments. Lisa, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Evidence? There's 1.2 thousand souls in this room. Watch my finger. Right there. There's a follow button right there. Please hit it. I'm trying to get to 200,000 followers, and I know you can help me out. Please. Yes, I will repeat it. I will repeat it.
But for everybody else, discuss possible jury instructions, suggestions from counsel. Then we can talk about any logistical issues that we have for tomorrow, and then we'll probably recess at that point. All right. So this will be.
If it froze, I was just asking everybody in here to hit the follow button because it's free to do if it was frozen. So just please follow me. Okay. Yes, I will repeat what I Googled. We're gonna study this. So I had asked what a preliminary charge conference was, and Google told me it was something that happens at the beginning of a trial. And then I had asked what would make it do that? What would make a judge do that in the middle of a trial? And the answer was a judge calls a preliminary charge conference in the middle of a trial to address unexpected developments in the evidence and to give attorneys an early roadmap for their final arguments before the trial concludes. While the final jury instructions cannot be finalized until all evidence is officially closed, a mid-trial conference serves several critical tactical purposes. Number one, to adapt to a trial surprise. A witness might say something unexpected that completely eliminates a planned legal defense or introduces a brand new legal issue. So in that statement, I would think the religious statement would be something that was unexpected with the mother-in-law. Or dismiss charges. The judge may rule on a mid-trial motion, like a motion for a direct verdict or judgment of an acquittal, that throws out certain counts, meaning the jury instructions must be radically trimmed. Or it could be for excluded evidence. If key evidence was barred during the trial, The judge must draft specific limiting instructions telling the jury exactly what they are allowed to consider. It is unexpected. I have watched many trials. I've never seen this happen. Yes, everything was fine up until 1:30 p.m. yesterday. Everything was fine. It could also be discussing a major legal charge was dropped or added. If a judge ruled to dismiss some of the charges, or if a single witness failed to provide a specific element of the crime, the legal scope of the case just radically changed. Thank you for the fireworks in the gift gallery, Lady in Red. By the way, y'all, my gift gallery is open. We have 3 boxes left, 4 boxes left, well, 3, to get the gift gallery full. Thank you, Lady in Red. And I have not had a full gallery in months. Welcome in, Fran. We got friends in the house. Friends. Thank you for your follow. Thank you for the heart, Lisa. Thank you. Olivia, we are all lost. 1.2 thousand followers in here. I mean, people, souls. I want you to be a follower. That's what come out of my mouth. Please follow me, please, please. The button's right there, totally free to do. Hey, Norway, throw down. Welcome in, Aunt Cole. Please follow me. Thank you guys for the follows. I love you very much. I'm trying to make it to 180,000 followers. A whole bunch of nothing burger happened today. Hold on. Hold on, all you Patrick conspirasaurs. You're trying to say they got evidence on Patrick now. I'm going to read this description again. Now, we all know for a fact that he said the phrase, a preliminary charge conference, which is usually held at the beginning of a trial. It's held at the beginning. It's unlike the final charging conference, so we can guesstimate that it has nothing to do with the closing arguments. The primary goal is to build a foundational framework, but why in the middle of a trial? It's to address unexpected developments in the evidence. Unexpected developments in the evidence. What's changing? Reddington says he's closing on Monday. I don't think so. Not with these half days and one witness days. Yes, I can say it again. I'm having to read it again to get it in my brain here. A judge calls a preliminary charge conference in the middle of a trial to address unexpected developments in the evidence and to give attorneys an early roadmap for their final arguments before trial concludes. Where would the video evidence come from? Excuse me. Allie, I don't see. Oh, I see it. Thank you. It's not letting me open it. Oh, it's making me hold on, it's making me update. But I'll play that when it lets me when it gets an updating. I have seen so many people talk about the Bratz doll. What in the hay bale is going on with that? What is up with the Bratz doll thing? Is why is everybody talking about it? What's it got to do with? Where do I watch it? What's it got to do with? In regards to like what would I don't know. I'm fine on YouTube. It's the same Wi-Fi, same phone. So if I'm lagging over here and not over there, then it's TikTok's fault, not mine.
What do you think of the support for Lindsay Clancy out here?
I have no words.
No words.
It's amazing.
What are you going to tell her when you get in there before court starts about what's out here?
Well, I'll tell her what's out here. That's all I can say. I like your outfit. It looks
Vicky,
good.
what do you plan to do today before you rest your case?
Cross-examine their experts. They're going to put them on today. And then I'll probably have a Zoom tomorrow with one more witness.
Okay. Do you expect court to go again for the rest?
The argument should be Monday, hopefully.
Okay. How do you think it's going, your case?
Never predict, I mean, we got jurors that are spending literally 5 weeks of their time on this case, which I love that. I think it's amazing. It's been going good.
You've been here weeks and you've been having your eyes on the jury. They've been taking lots of notes. What are you thinking? Do you feel confident that
They're very, very attentive, and they're putting a lot of work. They always do. They put a lot of work into the case. It's very moving for them. They don't forget it.
Mr. Reddington, what's your message to all these folks who are here today?
Thank you. That's all I can say. It's amazing.
we love you, Kevin.
Kevin, are you surprised at just how much attention this case has gotten? I mean, people are coming from Maine.
It's the message. It really is. It's the message that just has reverberated, throughout the whole country.
What is that
Reddington's
message?
fighting for women's rights.
No, I don't.
healthcare.
I think that it's the mental health system. I hate to use the word health care because unfortunately in this case we can see it hasn't been health care. And I think that it shines a light on this issue. I mean, when a woman is going through what so many people do and they go to a doctor and the doctor says, here, take this pill, take that pill, take this
It's
pill. and they
Reddington.
basically treat them for 15, 20 minutes and send them on their way. It's just not right.
And to those who can't wrap their heads around sympathizing with a mother who killed her 3 children, what do you say to them?
I think it's almost like when you're picking a jury and sometimes somebody will say, well, I don't agree with, this allegation of murder. I mean, none of us do. But that's what we have juries for. They pass between the government and the defendant to see if they can prove their case.
What do you think of
This support, and what does she think of this support?
I'm going to go in and see her right now. I'm sure that she is. And if she isn't, she will be. And
What do you think about?
She's so beat up and just so sad, but this will really help her out, I think. That's awesome.
we love her.
What do you think about
I will.
you being the advocate for all women right now?
I'm not an advocate.
You are.
What do you think of the support for
Okay. So that was from Fox News, just a short little interview with Reddington yesterday saying that he was going to close Monday, but I'm thinking that might be delayed. We might be, Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday by now. So this Bratz doll thing, what do I search for? Over on the Big YT, there's 18 souls watching me over here. So I'm going to go, do I go to YouTube or do I go to TikTok? And what do I search? What do I search? Millie Brat. Okay. It's the video that's censored. While I'm looking for this, if you're in the stream and if you haven't followed me, please do so. It's right there. That's where the follow button is. Please hit it. I would be forever grateful. Okay. Hold on, it's making me log in. So give me a second because I have to go out of I have to go to another thing. And then, because I want to show it. Yep, it's TikTok. Lagging because of TikTok. It is not me. I'm fine on YouTube. Hey, no lagging. Thank you. Thank you, Allie. I'm getting to it as soon as I get logged in. As soon as I get logged in. It's taking forever. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh, I am me. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's taken forever. But it won't let me watch anything until I log in. So give me just a second. I know, Kelsey, the TikTok. I'm fine over here. It's the same phone, same Wi-Fi, same me, same computer. It just keeps, it's bad. Okay. I know, but there's 800 folks in here and there's so many names. I can't go there. So I know Allie, so I'm going to go to hers. That did not work. Okay, that's not going to work. Let me do this then. And now that message is gone. I really loathe TikTok's messaging system. It won't let me. What? Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties. Sorry for the silence. It's hard to talk and try to get this set up. The problem is I can't get logged in on TikTok on the computer. And when you try to do it on the app and you press the button, nothing happens. So we're just going to have to listen to it. Even the open links ain't working.
The world be Patrick Clancy. I'm going to prove that Lindsay Clancy's bedroom was staged using Bratz dolls and a shoebox reconstruction of the crime scene, because I noticed something that absolutely nobody else has noticed, not even the blood experts. And if they did notice, they strategically omitted it from their testimony because it proves that Lindsay Clancy is innocent. My only credentials are that my brain works like this, guys.
This is my design.
If you know, you know. And I'm a forensic files enthusiast, back to back. Everyone needs to see this, and the only way that I know how to explain it is by showing you. That's why I made the reconstruction. Please stay with me and watch this, because I'm going to be reenacting the scene the way that I see it when I look at the crime scene. This is your trigger warning. If you're sensitive to domestic violence and blood and graphic detail, do not watch this video. I've managed to semi-accurately dress Lindsay in a black tank top and jeans, but unfortunately my male Bratz doll didn't come with a weaker jawline, and he doesn't have accurate clothing to what Patrick was wearing other than the first pair of shoes. So excuse me for that. First, let's do a quick tour. This is the doorway. This is the navy shelves. This represents the mirror. Blood spot A. This represents the pillow next to the mirror, the pillowcase next to the mirror. I've just drawn some blue on the floor. Lindsay's slippers, the green tub, assorted linens I've just depicted using just a pencil here just for reference. Blood spot B, blood spot C, and our drawers along with our knife. And I've roughly indicated where the cups were and the spray bottles on the bedside table there. Then we have our Lindsay, the phone on the bed. Excuse the old vintage phone, wasn't really a thing back when Bratz dolls were made. I saw the theory that Lindsay had the window shut on her neck, but unfortunately I have a more plausible explanation as to what's happened to Lindsay and why her thyroid was crushed, so let's get into it. I've also made sure I can move the bed because it's vitally important, and what kicked this off for me is what I saw when I saw the blood and the bed. Okay, from the top, here's our Lindsay. Our Lindsay is sleeping. I think that the Benadryl in the cup full of lemonade wasn't a suicide attempt, it was a sleep aid. Our Lindsay was sleeping, and she was probably sleeping a long time before this kicked off. What I'm alleging has happened is
it on
Lindsay
Facebook?
has been rendered unconscious, and that is what has caused.
This is hard to listen to without watching. It's hard to do that, and I can't get in TikTok. Everything is junk. Right. Somebody let me know when they come back. Let me get the maybe you can send it somewhere else. There's 25 people on YouTube. I know. I can't get into TikTok. Nothing's working. It's like they're so slow. Hmm. But it'll let you watch it on the For You page. That's the problem. It makes you log in, and I can't. They're coming back to talk about this it's very important and that we don't miss that. It's super important that we don't miss that. Hold on, I think it's on Instagram too. She don't have the link on there. Oh, if it's on the Book of Faces, I can probably go. Oh, for the love. It's wanting me to log in. I'm over this. I'm not, I wouldn't be playing it on here. I would be playing it on YouTube. Give me just a second. I don't know why TikTok won't let me log in. The QR code's not working. I tried it 4 different times. Okay, I think I'm in on the Book of the Face. So I would just search the same thing. It was the counselor. They only had the one this morning. They only had the one. Okay, I finally found it. Okay, so hold on.
On today's episode of the Women of
They put.
On today's episode of the Women of the World v. Patrick Clancy.
Why can't I hear it? Now I can hear
I'm
it.
going to prove that Lindsay Clancy's bedroom was staged using Bratz dolls and a shoebox reconstruction of the.
Wait. All right, here we go. I'm ready.
On today's episode of the Women of the World v. Patrick Clancy, I'm going to prove that Lindsay Clancy's bedroom was staged using Bratz dolls and a shoebox reconstruction of the crime scene because I noticed something that absolutely nobody else has noticed, not even the blood experts. And if they did notice, they strategically omitted it from their testimony because it proves that Lindsay Clancy is innocent. My only credentials are that my brain works like this, guys.
This is my design.
If you know, you know. And I'm a forensic files enthusiast, back to back. Everyone needs to see this, and the only way that I know how to explain it is by showing you. That's why I made the reconstruction. I don't even know what we're about to watch here. Please stay with me and watch this, because I'm going to be reenacting the scene the way that I see it when I look at the crime scene. This is your trigger warning. If you're sensitive to domestic violence and blood and graphic detail, do not watch this video. I've managed to semi-accurately dress Lindsay in a black tank top and jeans, but unfortunately my male Bratz doll didn't come with a weaker jawline, and he doesn't have accurate clothing to what Patrick was wearing other than the first pair of shoes. So excuse me for that. First, let's do a quick tour. This is the doorway. This is the navy shelves. This represents the mirror. Blood spot A. This represents the pillow next to the mirror, the pillowcase next to the mirror. I've just drawn some blue on the floor. Lindsay's slippers, the green tub, assorted linens I've just depicted using just a pencil here just for reference. Blood spot B, blood spot C, and our drawers along with our knife. And I've roughly indicated where the cups were and the spray bottles on the bedside table there.
Well, she spent a long
Then
time
we have our
on
Lindsay, the phone on the bed. Excuse the old vintage phone, wasn't really a thing back when Bratz dolls were made. I saw the theory that Lindsay had the window shut on her neck, but unfortunately I have a more plausible explanation as to what's happened to Lindsay and why her thyroid was crushed, so let's get into it.
I'm on
I've
YouTube
also made sure I
Live.
can move the bed because it's vitally important, and what kicked this off for me is what I saw when I saw the blood and the bed. Okay, from the top, here's our Lindsay. Our Lindsay is sleeping. I think that the Benadryl in the cup full of lemonade wasn't a suicide attempt, it was a sleep aid. Our Lindsay was sleeping, and she was probably sleeping a long time before this kicked off. What I'm alleging has happened is Lindsay has been rendered unconscious, and that is what's caused her thyroid injury. The safest thing to do was to turn off the Apple Watch to make sure it wasn't tracking any of her movement, because any movement from her part or lack thereof was going to be suspicious.
He took the Apple Watch downstairs with him to the basement, turned it back on, and then used it to send himself a work email so that it would be reasonably explained that he had nothing to do with her Apple Watch activity. Then I'm alleging that he dragged her unconscious body to the edge of the bed and sat her facing the mirror because he needed to see what he was doing. His plan was to be able to hold her upright and make every single wound look self-inflicted. When he cut her wrist and caused blood spot A, he realized that it's going to be impossible to keep her limp body upright and keep blood off himself, especially if she started to stir from deep pain stimulus in that wrist. So what does he do? He panics. Our Lindsay is still bleeding off the edge of the bed because her hand has been positioned there. She's unconscious, and he moves the bed, which then causes the blood to travel. Excuse the length ratio here. It's not perfectly to scale, but it explains the blood trail from blood spot A over here without any touching on the bed. Next, what does he do? He gets back on the bed, positions our Lindsay back upright. He knows he still can't get any blood on the bed, but he has to make it look like she's up and standing and moving around voluntarily, right? He struggles to fling her unconscious body, which may or may not have caused the only spatter transfer in the bedroom on the mirror. He then maneuvers her body this way, creating this blood trail up here, and then positions her on the bed, creating blood spot B. After he panicked and dragged the bed, I think that's when the blood spots happened by the door, and that's also when he pressed the push lock with bloody gloves to make sure the kids couldn't come up and interrupt him. So we've left a trail up to blood spot B. I'm alleging that Lindsay's already bleeding wrist is limp and hanging downwards, and nothing but gravity is causing these passive blood droplets on the floor. So from here, he realizes it's going to be challenging to grab the knife and return it to this side table, which would be his workstation. So what does he do? He moves it. It's possible that during that process, he actually dropped the knife because there was a spatter pattern and some small impact around this little puddle. I'm not sure the chronology of events. But now he's got access to that bedside. He can reach it and he can work on this other wrist. He then cuts her right wrist, which creates blood spot C. And again, she's limp. Her arms are positioned. Forgive the Bratz dolls again. They're not going to be exact. But her arms are limp over the bed. That's why he moved the bed, so that he can wedge her and press her up against it. Make sure she stays asleep and make sure she stays still so no blood gets on the bed, meaning no blood gets on him. I'm not sure if he moved the curtain before or after he moved the side table, but this transfer pattern, I think, is from him with his gloved up hands moving the curtain.
Can you all believe this?
To the side. So I'm not sure if he did that when he moved the side table or did that just before he put her through the window. It could have been either or, but it's to make room. Same with this curtain here. I'm alleging it was moved out of the way because there's still blood droplets at the base of where the curtains were, but none on the actual curtains. So I'm thinking they were out of the way. I think he brought her chest up and then he cut her neck. But because he didn't have the mirror to see, he wasn't sure if he cut the carotid artery. That's why it was superficial, but yet still bleeding. Maybe not as actively as the rest, but it's because he can't see. Now he has to get her through the window. So I'm thinking her right wrist went first. And that's what started the transfer pattern here on the exterior of the window, next to that odd orange silicone or whatever it was on the exterior. And from the inside, while he's trying to do that, this wrist is now bleeding more freely in this direction. And he brings her arm over, again being mindful not to get blood on himself. And that's where we see this transfer pattern on the interior of the window. So once her arms are out, he then pushes her forward and she's on by her hips. The reason I don't subscribe to the idea that he slammed her neck in the window is because he needed her unconscious well before that, but also there's no real blood on the center of that window, only transfer on the outside and on the inside on opposite sides. So he has her out by her hips. And it's at least a few seconds that she's dangling unconscious here.
It's starting to look like Debbie
exterior blood patterns come from. The prosecution reckons that there was blood in between here, but I disagree. I don't think it looks like blood at all. I think it just looks like general stains on the exterior of the house that have nothing to do with it. And she never tested it, so I'm just ignoring it. So that's not there. Just these two marks that were obviously from her wrist. And then down here on the ledge of the window, where it was obviously
there was a lot of time spent on this, and I'm not believing it one bit.
And then he drops her. And there she is outside on the snow, well in advance of any of this being put into motion. And there he is. He's finished with Lindsay, and now he has to set the rest of the scene. Now here's my smoking gun. The curtains are returned to normal. And he starts to examine the room and try to figure out what looks unnatural. So he moves the bedside table back to where it was. And what does he do? He doesn't realize no blood on the curtain behind it, which is inconsistent with the amount of action going on the surface of that table. But the most important mistake he made is right down here. Because underneath that side table leg are two perfectly circular passive blood drops from when he was working on her before. And he's just moved this bedside table directly over the top of those blood stains, which means the scene was staged. Because nowhere in this room, in this situation, in any of this blood, in any of this action, nowhere are Lindsay's fingerprints. If she was bleeding and doing all of this herself, her fingerprints would be on either side of this table. He's moved it and put it back over those blood droplets unknowingly to make it look as natural as possible, as though she came over here, stood there, cut her wrist, and went out the window, when that's obviously not what has happened. Based on the way Patrick Clancy told on himself on the stand, I can reasonably predict what happened with the rest of the timeline. Lindsay going out the window, going to CVS, returning home, and then going to the restaurant, then returning home again. But I want to focus on the bedroom. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I need to explain this stain. I think when Patrick got back from CVS, he realized he made a mistake, went upstairs and returned the Apple Watch to the drawer because it stopped tracking Lindsay's heart rate. He needed to put it back to make it look like she had been responsible for those movements. Then he got blood on his shoes rushing to do that, panicked, took the shoes off, took them down to the basement where he did some other deeds as well. He changed his shoes, took the boots and whatever other bloody paraphernalia he had that he needed to get rid of, likely went back through those woods to then go to the restaurant to pick up the food. If you got chills just like I did when I noticed this, please share this video. I want it to reach Kevin Reddington because this is one of the most concrete pieces of evidence for the defense that I have seen so far, other than the email. And it's been completely ignored and gone unnoticed.
Okay. Could it be possible that someone working the crime scene moved the table over? How did they talk on the phone during this trip? Because wasn't there a phone call? Wasn't there a phone call? How did that happen? A 14-second phone call. Okay, so but then why would Lindsay be sitting there taking it essentially saying, well, you know, I'm just going to take the blame for this. Why? Who said that he took her Apple Watch with him? That's what I keep saying, Autumn. I mean, everybody comes in praising Reddington, but at the same time, they're like, well, Patrick done it. And I'm thinking Reddington, if he is as good as you all say he is, then he would have found that. Holding the watch in CVS or where? Good morning, Unbroken. Well, do you think it has anything to do with this situation that's going on, the preliminary charge conference? We all have to admit this is unprecedented, what's happening with this trial. Yes, it's over. Day 17 is over. They're back. Okay, let's listen in. I don't see, I'm live on WCV. What? No, they've ended. Okay, so hold on.
Kind of suggestions that they would be seeking the court to instruct the jury on. So kind of what I'll be using will be the model jury instructions, generally the model jury instructions from the March 2026, the latest suggestions from the SJC. And so Commonwealth, let me kind of hear what your thoughts are, and then I'll hear from the defendant.
So for individual instructions, we have listed opinion testimony, prior inconsistent and prior consistent statements, redactions. I don't think there are too many, but there were some on the death certificates, stipulations, and consciousness of guilt instruction. In terms of what we're looking for for the charges, we'd be looking for an instruction on first and second, with the theories of first being both deliberate premeditation and extreme atrocity and cruelty. In terms of the criminal responsibility instruction, we're asking that the instruction regarding intoxication not be given, because from our perspective, there's been no evidence of intoxication by drugs and/or alcohol during the killings. There's testimony, and I think there'll be more testimony about the defendant taking pills after killing the children. And before killing the children, she was on low-dose prescription, 10 milligrams of amitriptyline that was recently increased to 20 milligrams, but there's no real evidence of whether or not she actually increased that dose. And then it was a low dose of trazodone and a low dose of, I believe, Valium. So those were prescribed medications that she had reported no side effects from. And I believe in the text with her mother, she said that she was still waiting to actually feel effects from those. So there's no evidence of intoxication from those drugs. And then the only intoxication potentially could be when she took pills after killing the children. And even those amounts from the toxicology are low-level amounts. So we're asking that the instruction on intoxication not be given.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask the defendant as well, because I did read through those. And I was trying to find the definition of intoxication as it applies in the homicide instructions. Most of the cases that I was able to find so far is the dealing with the OUI statute, Chapter 90, and trying to find the real definition in regards to that. Is it the Commonwealth's position that the intoxication is beyond what was the considered effect of the drugs? Because if do you know what I'm saying? So if she takes, if a defendant, I don't mean to personalize it, if a defendant takes prescription drugs and it does create some effect, would that be considered intoxicated for the instruction?
I don't believe so. I think in the instructions, it talks about having being intoxicated to the point where it affects your state of mind or ability to control yourself. I think intoxication, especially where there's not a specific definition given in the homicide instructions, I think you go to the general definition of intoxication, which would not just be taking medication as prescribed, but it would be over taking medication or combining with alcohol or other drugs, similar to the instructions in OUIs, operating under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I think you would have to go to that definition or to the general definition of intoxication if it's not specifically defined in the instructions. And I think the general definition of intoxication is taking some type of substance, either alcohol, drugs, medication, in excess and to the point where it's affecting your ability to think and to act and to control your behavior.
All right. All right. Anything? So I've got opinion, prior, consistent, prior, inconsistent, redaction, stipulations, consciousness of guilt, first, second, extreme atrocity, deliberate premeditation, and the criminal responsibilities without the subparagraph or the paragraph regarding intoxication.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Mr. Reddington?
I don't know if the government has been listening to the same evidence in this case. This is clearly an involuntary intoxication defense, at least as far as the judge's charge to the jury, based upon the evidence that's been presented, whether or not it's what we would argue is the over prescription of the medications, whether or not it's the side effects of the medications, whether or not it's the titration or the termination or the immediate cessation of the medications against what normal medical advice would be. All of those factors contribute to the state of mind of Ms. Clancy that was expressed to a lot of people, family members, people that knew her. She had indicated, I think Your Honor knows the evidence repeatedly indicated that she was affected by the benzos. She was affected, felt that she was being addicted to the was obviously killing her as far as going from 25 to 50 milligrams. And then subsequent to that, when there's additional SSRIs prescribed, to suggest that there's no basis to give the jury the instruction, they may determine based on the evidence that is as a result of the involuntary intoxication from narcotics, not alcohol, obviously, from the prescribed narcotics, not illegal drugs. So from the prescription drugs, that's on all fours with a valid defense that they should be instructed as it relates to involuntary intoxication. I think it's the model jury instructions on criminal responsibility. Obviously, if there's any nuances that I would pick up, I would bring that to the court's attention. But I have tried murder case recently with the model jury instructions, and my memory is that I was pretty satisfied. It was Judge O'Shea, I think, actually in this courtroom a year ago, and I was satisfied with the instructions on lack of criminal responsibility. I would at some point ask the court to charge on involuntary manslaughter. I'd ask the court to charge on wanton conduct with a component of the impact of the intoxication. So you can't try this case in a vacuum. You can't present the case to the jury. I know the government would like to present the case only on cruelty and atrocity. They probably don't like the statute that allows a jury to determine the degree of murder, which would be first and second. But I think that the evidence is such that a jury should have the option of considering whether or not we're talking about involuntary manslaughter based upon the evidence that's permitted. So I would defer to the court on the instructions on cruelty and atrocity, premeditated malice of forethought, second degree malice. I would ask the court to consider instructing on involuntary intoxication, to consider on the involuntary manslaughter as a lesser offense, and anything else that I can think of. But right now, that's what I can think of.
All right. Yeah, counsel.
Thank you. Commonwealth did request first and second degree instructions. It's our position that involuntary manslaughter wouldn't apply here. The evidence is that there was a specific intent to cause the death. So there's nothing that I can think of in the involuntary instruction that would apply here. Going back to the intoxication just for a moment.
Sure.
All of the medications, most of the medications that defense counsel talked about that the defendant was having reactions to and side effects from were before her hospitalization at McLean Hospital. And she was weaned off of that last one, the Seroquel, that while she was in McLean Hospital. And then she was without those medications and they're out of her system for 3 weeks. And she's just on those other 3 medications. So the intoxication that matters is not what happened in the fall and before McLean, it's what happened on the day of the incident. It's similar if it's an OUI, it doesn't matter if you were drunk in November, it matters if you're drunk on the date of the incident. So what matters here is that January 24th, 2023, and those other drugs and the effects that they caused to her aren't relevant to what happened on that day, as they've been out of her system for at least 3 weeks at that point.
All right. So the Commonwealth's position would be that the relevant analysis is what she was taking on or around that January 24th?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Wow.
Any other?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Sure.
Just occurred to me, again, as I said, it's only fresh in my mind from the case I had here last year. I know the model jury instructions indicate, and I'm trying to find it in here, that there's supposed to be consideration of a chalk for the court to write out the elements of the offense of first degree murder, cruelty and atrocity, premeditated malice of forethought, etc. And I would ask that you not do that. I don't think that it's appropriate. I think it highlights, if you will, in simplistic terms, premeditated malice of forethought. I think you and I, we just had a murder case last year on another matter. And I mean, I heard your instructions. You're very forceful with the elements of the offense. And I just don't think we need to have this appendix or whatever you want to call it. And again, I did object to that with the Judge O'Shea. We did not submit the instruction list, cookbook, or whatever you want to call it, to the jury. So I think that the court's instructions would be sufficient. I would not want to have that chalk that is referenced in the model instructions. That's discretionary. It's not obligated. They just say that it might be helpful for the court to give the jury some type of a checklist. But I don't think we should reduce instructions on a
Morning,
murder
Becca.
case
Hey,
to a
Dee.
checklist. And I'm just afraid that what happens is that jurors then take the checklist, as it were, and they kind of look at it or consider it, and they just do exactly that. It's a checklist. So I would ask that you not do that.
All right. Just so counsel, my general practice is not to have that kind of list.
Yeah, I remember
I
that, yeah.
generally don't, but I also generally
Yes.
will provide a copy of the instructions to each juror. So they'll have their own full copy and they can follow along because the 3 of you know they're lengthy and kind of dry. So they'll have those with them. But I'll like I said, I generally don't do that chart. All right. So anything else in regards to the instructions?
No, Your Honor.
Right. So my plan would be to have at least a rough draft available for council tomorrow. So you at least have that. And depending on the timing and where we go in regards to the actual closings, we'll have the opportunity for you to review those, go over the draft, and then any kind of objections or suggestions you want to make, we'll have a chance to do that. But so you'll have, again, it's a rough draft. That's all I can tell you. And nothing's in stone, but at least give you an idea kind of where I'm coming from.
Do you think, logistically, Your Honor, that with the
It's about your
presentation
instructions.
of Dr. Resnick and then the government having their 3 doctors, hopefully we finish the evidence tomorrow, we will be closing Monday?
I would expect either Monday or Tuesday. If the parties may need.
Closing Monday or Tuesday.
We could talk about that. But, my old experience, there's been a lot of evidence and there's a lot of witnesses. And so if the parties feel that they need like a day to kind of marshal their thoughts, we could talk about that. So either probably Monday or Tuesday. We could talk about that tomorrow. All right. All right. Anything else we need to address, you think?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And so tomorrow we'll be in recess until tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Hopefully we'll start with Dr. Resnick and then, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You just kind of looked, I thought, So that would be the thought. And then we'll just kind of go from there. If the defendant rests, the Commonwealth can then present their witnesses. And if it's not done by Friday, we go into Monday, and that may mean closings and charge on Tuesday.
Okay.
All right.
And Mr. Verino will be here, yes, to set up the Zoom.
So you're not going to trust me to set that up this time? I think that's a good move. All right. All right. So thank you, everyone. And so we'll be in recess until tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All rise.
Okay. So, it seems to me that this might be the reason that court ended yesterday. Because there was some confusion or misunderstanding about the jury instructions in regards to intoxication. Trying to say that the medicine was an involuntary intoxication instead of wording it like it was an on-purpose intoxication, which could affect the jury's decision on what charge she's guilty on. It's TikTok. I'm going fine on the YouTube, not freezing at all. I think that's what's going on here. Lord, today we have had a big day here and a confusing one. So, folks, today's life goal is going to be hand hearts. We only need 5 more to reach our goal. I would forever be appreciated if you, it's not going to let me pin anything. Oh, yeah, it did. If you could send a hand heart, please do so. It goes to support the platform and what I do here. 942 souls. Hit the follow button for me if you haven't already. That's totally free to do. Anything you can do. I pinned the hearts and it sent up the dragon. So if you can send a dragon head, please do so. It is very stressful because everything keeps changing. Things keeps changing. But I feel like that's what happened yesterday. I feel like somebody complained about the jury instructions. There's not really a recap. The chaplain came up. She testified for a minute or two. She left. Today was a whole big nothing burger. The court relies on established model instructions. Oh my gosh, Mama, look, thank you. Thank you. We only need 3 more now. We need 3 more. Loud typing. Yikes. Yes, this is a live show and I have a live keyboard that I live type on so that I can lively tell you what in the live is going on. So the court relies on established model instructions on homicide and criminal responsibility to guide jurors on how to weigh evidence of postpartum psychosis. He will not be testifying to what or if he found anything. So, Angie, thank you for the heart. Thank you. I really appreciate that, ma'am. Thank you so much. So basically, I'm not a law interpretor, but basically, I feel like this is what happened yesterday. It had nothing to do with travel delay, nothing to do with the juror, nothing to do with evidence, other than the evidence being it is to do with the evidence. We read the definition. And the evidence is they want to make sure the jury instructions are written correctly to make sure they understand that it was an involuntary intoxication and not an on purpose one. Because when you say intoxicated, I mean, what do you mean? I mean, did she down a bottle of Jack and then go do it? Or do you mean intoxication as far as what? The mixture of medicine and unknown and unexpected intoxication. So, as far as her charges are concerned, that's what they want to do is specifically clarify and instruct in the jury instructions to keep in mind that it was involuntary and not voluntary, which could affect the charge that they found her guilty on. In basic terms. We have 698 souls. If you have not followed me, please do so. It's free to do. It's right there. All you got to do is hit that button right there. And I would forever, forever appreciate you. So you can send heart puffs, heart me's, donuts, roses, whatever Yin's got. It's like throwing roses on the stage. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Good job. So involuntary would not mean that someone else gave it to her. Involuntary would mean that she took the medicine with a different expectation than what actually happened. Maybe she didn't understand that they would mix the way that they did. Thank you. Thank you, Magda. Thank you for the hand heart. So for example, if I'm given these medications and doctors are not in touch with each other, and then the side effect of the medication is that I'm now intoxicated to the point where I'm hearing a voice telling me to take these lives and then take my own, is different than going to grab a bottle of Jack, knowing very good well that when you drink it, you will become intoxicated. That's the difference. So I don't know if the judge has to rule on this because both sides gave their sides. I didn't hear a ruling, so I kind of don't know what comes next. I think they'll think on it. They don't have to come up with the jury instructions just today, but they'll have to get that settled tomorrow because closing arguments are on Monday, maybe Tuesday, and then we will be in verdict watch. You would think so. You would think so, but at the end of the day, a whole bunch of folks failed Lindsay, I feel. A whole bunch of folks failed Lindsay. They can find her not guilty by reason of insanity. She's never getting out of anywhere. The difference is will she go to prison or will she go to a psychiatric hospital? I think, Carolyn, the verdict will be not guilty by reason of insanity. There are different types of intoxications, not just alcohol. I don't expect the neighbor to testify. How long do you guys think the jury will be in deliberation? 4 hours, somebody said. Yes. Trial tomorrow. But here's the thing. There is a whole other half day they could testify people on. That little sidebar about this conference and all of this, that didn't take long. Why cancel the rest of the day because of it? There's 12 women and 6 men. There's Holy cow, are you kidding? 12 women and 6 men, 18. But who's on the 12? This is going to be women dominated. It's an abnormal amount of time. All right, 2 more hearts. I know y'all can do it. 2 more. There's 712 souls in here. At least 2 people have 1 hand heart. Come on, come on, come on. Let's reach our goal. We can do it. Come on. Ooh, thank you, Kendra. Thank you. Oh, we made it. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. We done it. Thank you, guys. If you're coming in here and you're new to me, my name is Steph's Case Files. I go live every day on the TikTok at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Normally, it'll be earlier because of this trial. Make sure you follow me for all things true crime. If you're interested in this trial or that trial or the other trial, any trial, or anything going on in true crime, following is totally free to do, and it's the biggest way you can support content creators on TikTok. I don't know about the accepting new evidence. Right, Magda, I did not realize that there were so many women on the jury. I saw it. I saw the Bratstall thing, but that's it. Much respect to the Bratstall lady, but I tend to believe crime scene investigators a little more. No, they ended for the day, Kelly. They had 1 witness. Testimony maybe lasted 15 minutes. I don't even know. They were done, and then they called. They ended for the day. Basically, a woman took a Bratstall and put it in some cardboard and said, "This is what happened." I'm just trying to be sweet. Why aren't they staying to work on today? I know. There's a whole other half day out there. That's not, like, why did we have to stop? But anyway, closing's on Monday. Closing's on Monday. We've almost had 200 new followers this live. If there are 7 people in here who haven't followed me, please do so we can hit 200. Yes, Jen. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Whatever happened today, which if it has anything to do with why they're not in court, jury instructions should not eliminate the rest of the day of court coverage. Thank you, Magda. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. What's up, Gail? Good to see you. Oh, the Bratz doll thing. I said she got some cardboard and a Bratz doll and put down some red fingernail polish and called it a slaughter scene. I don't believe it. I do not believe Patrick done it. Should he be arrested for being a suck-ass husband, if that could be a charge? Yes. He should. But I don't believe he came up in the bed and then moved the bed, and he moved that, and then he threw her out the window, and then he cut her neck, and then he went back, and then he killed the kids. No! I don't believe it. How many views has the Bratz video got? Millions, I'm sure. Everybody's talking about it. But I don't understand. I don't understand it. It didn't convince me one bit. Today, he tweeted that today. Mike. What do I believe? I believe Lindsay done it. She said she done it, so I'm going to believe her. Dang. Like who? I don't care how, in how many stages of psychosis one can be in. They're not going to be in the part that says, I'm going to go to jail or a psych ward for the rest of my life for something I didn't do. It just doesn't seem like it would happen that way. Yes, he's negligent. Patrick is negligent. He was told by his wife that she was feeling like she was going to unalive her children. And I've said this from minute one, but that would have been the moment that I picked up the children and I got in the car, and I didn't come back until you got some help. And even then, you wouldn't be left alone with them. But in Patrick's mind, maybe, and I hate to say this, but maybe he was challenging her in his mind without saying it to go ahead and do it. Even if he was dating that woman in New York and he wanted out of it, I feel like that he eventually would have got a divorce. Now they're saying she's on this trip and that trip, and they were together here, and he went to New York a lot. He's probably a cheating old stanky leg. But it doesn't make him a murderer. All right, folks, that's my show for the day. Stephanie Williams on the YouTube doesn't believe he done it either. Hey, do you like this t-shirt? I have lots of them, and I hand draw some too. A mod can put it in here. If you'll just type, don't put the www now. All you have to do is type in scfmerch.com. You can go there, buy t-shirts. I got stuff on the back, true crime shirts and stuff like that. It helps to support my platform as well. Yeah, a cheating old stanky leg. Thank you, Cat G's. Thank you. Now I'm going to be live again in the morning. Hopefully, we're going to have a long day of court. We get through this. We get through the rest of it, huh? Hey, Bee's Knees is in here. If you want a cup, which I don't have, a custom cup, that's the person you go for. Steph's Case Files cup. Only her. Thank you. Make sure you follow me before I leave. Everybody else that didn't follow me, did we reach the 200 followers? 205. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. All right, I'm due to be live tomorrow. I'm going to be tomorrow unless something goes down. I'll be live today. Thank you so much for believing in me. I want to take the time to tell you how much I appreciate you coming in here to watch me. It means the world to me, and it's time that you'll never get back. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this with you and for you, and I'm so happy that you believe in me. That means the world to me. Thank you, Gingy, for the shout out. I appreciate that. Make sure you follow me on every social media platform. All you have to do is look for the same logo, the username at Steph's Case Files. On TikTok? No, not on TikTok. I'm at the Steph's Case Files here. But at Steph's Case Files on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me everywhere, huh? And I will see you tomorrow. The most important thing for me today, and I mean this with all of my heart, I say it every day because I mean it. Please be kind to one another because it's free to do. Thank you for believing in me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, YouTube. I love you. Thank you, YouTube.